Everyone thinks they're doing what they want, they've done what they want, and that they have choices, that life is something that you engage, and the way that you engage is the way that you want. It is by your choice. And this idea remains until that moment when you want to stop playing the game. This is illusion, not real, so I will stop the investments. And it is in this moment that you start to understand that you're actually a slave of what you call your life. That you are forced into circumstances. And you have very little power to do otherwise. And as you try your level best to strengthen yourself and start cutting the investments you make towards the maintenance of your own illusion, you will be pushed back, assailed by the prison guards. And those prison guards are fear. Fear, different sets of fears. They are the prison guards. And when you misbehave, they come. And misbehaving means trying to go against what seems to be natural. And what seems to be natural is you just following the dreams that appear on your intimate space. You don't know where they come from. Those ideas are good and bad. You don't know where they come from. You just go after them. But when you want to remain in stillness, cutting your attachments to illusion, fears will come strongly. Their demands are always the same. Go back to the same old, to the normal. Don't break the normal. So first will be fear of losing loved ones' approval. Fear of losing respect of others. Fear of losing comforts. And even before anything happens, you're starting to get bombarded by these fears, and these fears push you back to the normal way of living. But if you resist, if you persist, they will intensify. So you will understand in practical terms that you are completely dependent and there's something that wants you to remain as you were. Just living in the hope of happiness, tasting a little bit of circumstantial happiness, and then diving in suffering. You will see that. Because whenever you push into spiritual work with intent, with the firm intent of liberation, all hell breaks loose. You will be struck where it hurts the most. And that is an opportunity for you to see the real nature of what you call life. And that you can understand that if you seek liberation, you will have to rise above all your weaknesses, all your dependencies, all your fears, or else you will not stand a chance. And there are many levels of resistance that you can find, depending if your process only influences, has an impact only on your life. But the more lives it can impact, the more resistance you will receive. Something from within dragging you, pushing you to give up, to go back to the same old, same old, same old. It will become clear that there was no choices. That life that you fancy, that you are just traveling around, seeing this and that, it's not really the case, because you're walking into the lion's den. Eventually, you'll be into the lion's mouth. The lion's mouth is suffering. And by avoiding suffering, you walk right into it. And life after life, life after life, big promises, lion's den. Big promises, lion's den. Until you finally understand what you're living. And the one who wants to gain it all has to be willing to lose all. But lose all what? Because you never had anything. You're just convinced that you have. Some have certain things, others have other things. They are no better, no worse. They just play different parts to each other. All slaves, being used by life, not living life. To break with slavery, you have to rise above that in you which is fragile. Have a firm conviction of liberation, putting in your mind, I want nothing else from this world anymore, and from not any other worlds. Only liberation. With this firm intent, difficulties will rise, and you'll have to be willing to lose everything. Only when you're willing to lose everything, that illusion loses the power it has over you. Before it loses the power over you, it will have strong reactions in whatever is precious for you. But even if there was no quest for liberation, if you were just behaving, you are walking into the lion's den. That means that it doesn't matter what you're dreaming upon, you will find suffering. Life is full of suffering, of misery. And if not that kind of suffering, other kinds of suffering. Like emptiness, void, purposeless. Because as long as you are apart from the realization of who you really are, that is misery, that is suffering. But this suffering is not random. Many gain from that, from your suffering. You're just part of an ecosystem. Try to stop playing the game. Oh, my fear wants me to do this. I will not do it. Let's see what happens. And then you'll see what happens. And there are many layers of illusion. And you always believe that those who have what you don't have, they're happy. Everybody thinks that. So much confusion, so many stimulus, so much entertainment, just to run away from the mere glimpse of the emptiness that surrounds you. So eventually, life after life, the urge to escape the prison grows. Liberation becomes a need. But before climbing that highest mountain that talks about love, devotion, and surrender, you need to break the shackles of bondage. Whatever you're being threatened with to make you stop your spiritual practices, you need to go through it. Many try, many fail. Because they imagine there is somewhere to go. They don't see the lion inside the lion's den. They just see a dark hole where they can imagine that there's a light in the other side of the tunnel. They imagine that, okay, so I'll explore other possibilities of life. Like it was a choice. That life, those conditions, that bondage is guaranteed. Liberation is something you have to struggle for, but the rest is guaranteed. Because you are a slave of what you call your life. And only when you really decide to stop playing the game will you have a clear glimpse of the shackles around you.